over to recover and to prevent certain diseases all naturally. All right? All of us know about the many different types of medications out there, right? And I am not here to bash the medical industry, okay? Anybody here that's a health professional or worked in a... Amen. Good. I'm not here to say that doctors are evil, all right? I'm not here to say that hospitals are evil. They all have their place. But what I'm going to teach you tonight is all natural. This is some stuff that you may not get from your doctor. If you have some really good doctors, they will tell you some of these things. But what I have learned, what I've been certified in, is being able to do these presentations, to teach them thoroughly, being able to do Swedish massage, work with herbs, also do hydrotherapy, and we're going to see some of those things tonight, amen? And what we're going to do, I like to get a little interactive. I like to see people see some things happen. And what we're going to do today, we're actually going to start off with some demonstrations so that you can actually see how things work. We're going to start off with the remedy to some things that all of us are susceptible to, like the common cold, a fever, or a headache. And what do we do for these things, right? Many of us, we go to the stores and we get the over-the-counter medicine, but that medicine, usually what it does is it just suppresses what we're going through. It does not actually take away the cause, right? So before I get started, I have one little note I want to read to you. It's a disclaimer. I'm going to put this up by law. The health information received is for general education purposes only and is not intended to be specific medical advice. It is advisable to consult with one's personal health care provider before implementing any lifestyle changes. We all see that? Amen. Great. I have another disclaimer, and it says God is able. Amen. So what we're going to do, we're going to get into some wonderful demonstrations. And the first demonstration I'd like to show you is a hydrotherapy demonstration. How many of us have ever had a cold before? You ever had it? Yes. We know what it's like. I know you live down here in southern Alabama where, you get more warm weather than where I'm from. I'm from Ohio. And there's a lot of cold weather, especially this past year. They had almost 5 months of cold weather instead of the usual 3. And so there are a lot of people going through sicknesses and colds. And so what do we do if we get a cold? How do we remedy that cold? And I don't feel like going to the doctor. I don't feel like getting the over-the-counter medicine. I want to do something on that. I would like to call on someone to be my volunteer. Is there anyone that'd like to be a volunteer? Come on up, sis. Thank you so much for your bravery. Amen. Now this treatment that I'm going to do is actually called a hot foot bath. What is it called? Hot foot bath. Hot foot bath. I want to share something with you. Much of the material that I'm going to cover is going to be coming in a lot of these books. Okay, so I know you can't remember it all. I can't remember it all. But these books have all of this information in them. How many of you have heard of the Natural Remedies Encyclopedia? This is probably the greatest source that I have in my library. And I tell people all the time, if this book costs $1,000, it will be worth the price. Because you can save far more than that just going into this book instead of going to your doctor, okay? All of these treatments that I'm going to show you can be found in this book. I also have some of them on DVD. And you can actually get a DVD, and they'll go through every hydrotherapy treatment in that book. What is hydrotherapy? Hydrotherapy is the use of water in any of its form, whether it be solid, liquid, or vapor, for medicinal use. Okay? Hydrotherapy is the use of water in any of its form, solid, liquid, or vapor, for medicinal use. So our friend here, Sister Haynes, unfortunately, she has a headache and she has a cold. So what are we going to do for her? Now these demonstrations will be dry, not actually using water. But hydro means you got to use water, right? Okay. So you'll have 2 buckets. one with hot water in it, one with ice cold water, or ice water. Put some ice and water in it. You have 2 buckets. One was what? Hot water. The other is what? Ice cold. Ice cold. Ice cold. Great, great. So, when you put the hot water in here, if you're a diabetic or the person you're working with happens to be diabetic, you don't want that water to usually reach over 95 degrees. Okay? One problem with diabetics is that they don't have feeling in their feet. Their nerves are really bad, and they won't be able to tell how hot that water is. So it's burning their feet, it's scorching their feet, and they don't even know. Okay? If you're not able to determine what the degree is, what you can do is you put your own hand in there or put your elbow in there. If it's too hot for you, it's most likely too hot for them. Okay? But there are things that you can use to help you determine the degree of the water. And so, we take our hot water. She has kindly already taken off her shoes and her socks, and she's going to place her feet in that hot water. Okay? Notice this is a hot foot bath, not a warm foot bath. Okay? The water must be hot. And we have, what's in this? Ice cold water. Very good, very good. The next step, what we're going to do, is we're going to take a sheet, doesn't matter what color it is, mine happens to be purple, and we're going to wrap her up. And you can use a safety pin to hold this on, or you can tuck it in, doesn't matter. The other thing is we want to make sure that we cover up the water at her feet. We want to keep all that good heat in there. Okay? Now the main thing that I want you to remember is that truly the water is not doing the healing. Wow. God does all the healing. Amen. He created water, right? And it is by His power He'll activate these healing properties in water that will help us find relief. So if someone comes to me and they say, hey, I want you to do a hot foot bath treatment, I will always pray with them so that they will know that the person who's really doing the healing isn't me, it's not the treatment. These are just tools. But the God we serve, God that loves us, will help us. Amen. Now this towel will go into our ice cold water. It's going to be freezing cold, okay? And we'll take that out, we'll wring it out gently. We don't want it dripping wet, but we don't want it dry either. We're going to lay this right on top of her head. Okay? She has a cold. Her feet are in hot water. She has a headache. And this towel is ice cold, right? So what's taking place is the area that is warmest, the blood will begin to rush down to that area. So all of that tension that she has in her head from the headache is being now relieved, right? And so it's headed down there, and the cold water actually constricts the vessel, which actually gives it another push to head down quickly from the head to the feet, from the head to the feet. Okay? Now she's going to stay in this treatment for about 15 to 20 minutes. She may need to do it a few times a day, depending on how severe her cold is, okay? But this is very, very simple. Just take some hot and cold water, you can wrap yourself up. Even if you're not able to use it in buckets. You can put your feet over in the tub and wrap yourself up, put some cold water on your head, and allow the body to do its work, okay? That's what's the beauty of natural healing. We have to learn what the body is doing and help it do that. Because the body has been engineered to try to get well, right? The body has been engineered not to be sick. And so naturally it does what it can so that it can recover from sickness. Now if she has a toothache, this same treatment will remedy a toothache. I remember I had one lady I was working with in Shreveport, Louisiana, and it didn't take much as 5 minutes before she could tell that her toothache was relieved just by doing this. This also can help, excuse me, this also can help y'all if you have, like I said, minor headache, but it won't be something you would do for migraines, okay? Migraines are a whole other animal. What I found to be very successful with migraines, there are 2 herbs. One is called white willow bark, and the other is called feverfew. And you make a tea out of those 2 herbs and drink that down. I've had numerous testimonies for people who have had migraines. I had one lady that would miss 1 week of work every month because of how bad her migraines were. And I actually spoke with her husband. I worked with her husband, and I told him what to do. I said, you need to make a tea out of these two herbs and make sure she drinks this about 3 or 4 times a day. He came back to me maybe about 2 months later, and he said, my wife went to work the entire month last month. He said, this stuff is working pretty quickly. This woman would have to take shots if her migraines were so bad. And I spoke to them before I actually left my job, and that was maybe almost 7, 8 months later, and she had not had a migraine since. She just keeps drinking the tea. God not remember. Now, let's say Sister Haynes, unfortunately, was a very bad girl. And she started doing drugs, and started smoking, and she came to her senses one day, amen? And, I don't want to keep doing drugs, I don't want to keep smoking. We've met quite a few people in the neighborhood, and they are dealing with smoking. They've been smoking for years. They want to know, how do I quit smoking naturally? This treatment that I'm showing you, I'm going to show you another treatment called the Russian steam bath. And what that treatment will do is it's a natural cleanse of the body to get out the toxins that you put into your body, whether they're drugs, or whether they're smoking. One of the biggest troubles with overcoming smoking is because you still have those urges, right? You still have those urges because there's still those toxins in your system. Your body still feels that nicotine in there. So it's still drawing on that. But if you cleanse the system, the body has nothing to pull on. And your biggest trial to overcome then is your mental problem. I remember when I used to smoke. I smoked for 9 years. And I didn't know this at the time. I just had to quit by God's grace, cold turkey. Amen. And my biggest trouble was my mental trouble, my mental fixture on smoking. I remember I could be all day not have gone with a cigarette. And I could watch a movie and someone would be smoking. And I would leave my house and go to the corner store so I could go get a cigarette. Because it was mental. My body didn't want it anymore. And so a lot of people don't understand when they have the craving for smoking, that craving typically only lasts 60 seconds. And so the Russian steam bath is the exact same setup, okay? And you want to do this. You never, never, never want to use a metal chair. Like those in the back, you don't want to use those for this treatment, okay? Anyone know what this is?
A ventilator.
Warm steam vaporizer. So what you'll do is you'll put your water in here. And I found in Alabama, there's not very much sulfur in the water. And so I have to add a little salt to it to get it to really steam up pretty good. Yes, doesn't matter what it is, any kind of salt. And you'll put this right under their chair.
What do you have to do that for?
And this is going to begin causing that steam, and it's going to get her hot, right? And she's going to begin sweating. And that first sheet that I put on her is going to catch all of the toxins that are pouring out of her pores, okay? Now, she may need some help to sweat. And what I have is, I have a tincture. Anybody know what a tincture is?
Yeah.
We know what extract is, right? Like vanilla extract. Extract, tincture, it's the same thing. And it's an extract made of cayenne pepper. Very, very hot cayenne pepper. It's about 160,000 heat units, okay? The cayenne pepper you get from Walmart is probably only about 30,000 heat units, okay? I would have her sit on that cayenne pepper, and it's gonna cause her to sweat profusely. It's gonna get her to heat up quickly. Now this treatment, you wanna make sure you watch over them, okay? Because you don't want them to get too hot. You want their temperature to reach about 103 degrees. I've never had anyone get that close to get to 103. The closest is someone got up to 101. And you'll watch them, you'll watch their eyes, make sure they're not about to faint on you, okay? Make sure their eyes aren't glossing over. And this treatment, typically they may stay there at least 10 minutes. But there is no real timeline of what you can say, because what's too hot for her may not be the same for someone else. Someone else may be able to take this for 30 minutes before they really start to sweat and need to get out of it. Someone else may only take 10 minutes before their temperature reaches that 101 to 103 barrier, okay? And so, as she's sweating, those pores and toxins will be coming into that sheath. And what else she wants to do, she's going to do this for about 30 days. She's going to come see me for 30 days. She's going to cleanse her body to get all those toxins out of her system, okay? Now, what else she wants to do is, if you have lemon, everybody know you can get a lemon, right? Yeah. To help deal with the craving. If you suck on a lemon, it'll kill that craving instantly. Wow. Okay? The other thing you can do is that you need 100% fruit juice. I usually recommend grape juice. I found that grape juice works the best. If you have any cravings, if you don't have any lemons, you can keep some bottles of 100% grape juice. Okay? And for me, what really helped me was I began changing my lifestyle. There was a certain street that I would go down to buy cigarettes. I just went down a different street. You know, my cigarettes used to stay on this side, and so I changed everything to this side, so I had to mentally make my mind know there's nothing over there. I just need to hit the alarm clock because there's no cigarettes or anything like that. So you may need to make those types of changes. You need to readjust your thinking and your lifestyle, okay? So she's been here, 20 minutes, she's hot, she's ready to go, she's sweating. So what do we do? This is the exact same thing you do for the Russian steam bath and the hot foot bath. Remember, we've got our bucket. What's in the bucket? Ice cold water. Now, if you're in the bathroom or in the tub or the shower, what we would do at school, we'll take this ice cold water and we'll dump it on their head. It's just so refreshing. I mean, remember, she's up to 100 and something degrees, right?
Okay.
Yeah. Or what you can do, if they are at home and in the bathroom, you want to make sure that you hold on to this person and you'll have them get up. And what you'll do is you will walk them into the shower and turn the shower on totally cold for about 30 seconds. Okay? It's kind of funny when you're the one not doing it. Amen? Or what you can do is you'll take this ice cold water and you ask them, will you hold your feet above the bucket, please? Above the bucket, and you pour the ice cold water on their feet. And that way it neutralizes all that heat that was getting down to the leg, okay? Now this is a treatment for common cold, treatment for a headache, treatment for a toothache, the Russian steam bath with the vaporizer. If you need to detox your body, any chemicals, any substances, any drugs, tobacco, anything like that, this will begin to get your body clean again, okay? That all right? Amen, amen. Very simple, right? I mean, this doesn't cost more than $20, and I'm sure everybody has to make some sheets and some chairs. Amen.
How often does this need to be done? If I have a headache, when should I see?
If you had a headache, this will probably only take one treatment. If you had a cold, it may take 2 or 3 days, depending on how severe your cold is. Okay? Awesome. Y'all give Sister Hands a hand. Sister Hands. people out there that know what it is to deal with stress? Anybody got a little some stress in their life? If you're a Christian, you know dealing with the devil every day is stressful too. I think most of us know what it is to deal with stress. You got a boss, you got kids, you got all these things. Things begin to stress you out. Time constraints, you have homework, deadlines, things begin to stress you out. You're driving down Alabama and folks drive to the store. Things begin to stress you out, right? So we're going to do a little simple technique called massage. Anybody in here don't like massage? I've never met anyone that didn't like massage. This is a massage chair. I had a willing individual. What?
Okay, I know that's right.
Now, if you would like, if there's someone you know, you can get a partner and work with. If there's anyone like a partner, you can I'll teach you the steps right here.
Okay.
Is that all right? So what you'll do is your partner, if you have one addressed, you can just sit at the end of the chair like this, and your partner will work behind you. If you can, if you have any pants, you can go this way, and your partner will work behind you. Is that all right?
Yeah.
And anybody want to grab a partner real quick?
Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah.
We got a couple people.
Yeah, you wanna go?
The husband should be taking this opportunity to massage their wives. Now this is just a quick massage for stress relief. This is not a medical massage where you're trying to get all the kinks out of them and they got nuts and bolts that you gotta loosen up. We're not doing that, okay? This is a simple stress-free massage. It only takes about 5 to 7 minutes if you do it for someone. I also want to recommend something. I saw a pretty good study, pretty lengthy study on the benefits of massaging your children. And they found that many of them actually go to school much more ready to learn. And so I want to just encourage you to, give them a massage before they go to school or even at night before they go to bed. And it'll help relieve some of that tension. I know we think that kids, they don't have stress, but they do. It'll relieve some of that tension in school. All right. So there are a couple of rules that we have to remember when it comes to massage. One rule is this: don't take both hands off the person, okay? Once you begin, that element of touch, they need to keep that consistent throughout the whole massage, okay? The other rule is, don't use your fingertips. You ever ask someone to walk up to you and just start, they don't know what they're doing, just start grabbing you, It doesn't feel good, but they think they know what they're doing, all right? We're actually going to use the base and the palm of our hand. We're going to grab the muscles in the base and the palm of our hand, all right? That's how we're going to lift up the muscle. The base and the palm of our hand, all right? Can you see me? Okay, good. So, when you start a massage, usually what I'll do is I'll just simply, I'll just give them some light strokes just to let them know I'm going to start. Help relax them, help them to know that this is starting now. And this first technique here is called kneading, like kneading bread, kneading dough. That's why I said we just use the cups of our hands. I was trying. You always want to make sure they're comfortable, they're the one under the pressure, right? You can just do this as fast or slow as you possibly can. And the other technique is, you ever wonder how masseuses can do this all day long? Is that their work isn't in their hands, the work is in their body, okay? And so when you're applying pressure, you usually want to come forward and let your body apply the pressure, okay? And that way they can do this all day long because the work isn't in their hands. All they're doing is rocking back and forth, okay? The next technique is we're actually going to use the base of our palm. And we're going to find that right behind the shoulder blade. And we're just going to make small circles. And again, use your body. Use your body. Amen. Go to the other side. That's all right to you? Amen. Amen. Oh, I definitely want to say this. You never want to massage someone's spine. Okay? There's too many nerves there.
That's true.
And you don't want to pinch one of those nerves up. That'll be a very bad experience, okay? Don't want to, there are certain masseuses that have certain techniques, what they can do by working around the spine pretty closely. You don't want to concentrate time on the spine, okay?
Amen.
Secondly, we're going to use the base of our thumbs. Doing the same thing we just did, so we use our thumbs, make small circles. We're going to go down the back.
Okay,
Make a small circle.
down the back.
Uh-huh. Again, you use your body, let your body do the work. I would say you use your body, let your body do the work. Pressure all right? Okay. You can do that for several laps up and down the body. And there's one technique I think we're all familiar with, and that's called tapotement or drumming. And you use the side of your hand, and with rhythm, up and down. Now, one way to really get a really good massage, of course, most people you massage won't have any clothes on, right? And you can actually put honey on them. And honey will begin to really lift up those muscles. They get a really deep pull, okay? Peanut butter is a little too sticky. Honey seems to work just fine.
Is that true? Someone said, you ever did a thing like that and stop putting on your heart? That's not true.
No, I haven't. I can't say that's true.
What was the question?
No, I'm just saying, you know, the shopping, someone said that stop putting on your heart.
I don't know that to be
Okay.
true. But there's one thing that you'll learn about the health industry. There's a lot of propaganda out there. Everybody has something to say.
Could be street.
Right? Yeah, no problem. I mean, I'm glad for the question. And unfortunately, because there's not a lot of regulation in this industry, people can come out with their own pills, their own program, and say it works, right? And nothing's really been done by research, okay? And last step, very lightly, you take the tips of your fingers and just lightly jolt it back. Lightly jolt it back. Okay? And again, all of this is in that book. What I usually do, I'll give them a tap, let them know it's all over with. You went to sleep on it. That's always a good sign. Amen. Amen. Y'all give our willing participants a hand. encounter these things, whether it's stress or a cold or a headache. These are some simple tools that we can do to remedy these things on naturally. What we're going to get into now, we're actually going to get into some of these diseases that people are dealing with. Tonight we're going to cover diabetes, we're going to cover high blood pressure, and we're going to cover weight loss. Okay? Is anyone suffering from one of those three things in here? All right. So I pray that when you leave, that you will have a grand idea of what to do for them. First, we're going to talk about diabetes. Statistics show that every 50 seconds, someone is diagnosed with diabetes. Every 50 seconds. That's a lot of people, right? Just a few years ago, 1.9 million people that were 20 and over were diagnosed with diabetes. Usually we think diabetes is something that happens to older people. But they're finding people just 20 and over are becoming diagnosed with diabetes. That's a serious problem. There are two types of diabetes, two main types. They're actually studying for a third type, but there's not enough research for me to present on that yet. But we're going to talk about the main two types. The first one is type 1 diabetes, juvenile diabetes. Usually happens in people who are really overweight. They're usually thin, begins in childhood, and it affects about 5% of diabetics. This is IDDM, or insulin-dependent diabetes mellitus. These people, these diabetics, when they eat their food and their body begins to digest it, and what's happening is their pancreas is not producing the insulin to go get all of this excess glucose in the system. And so they need to get their insulin from an outside source. Insulin is like a taxi cab. It pulls up to the glucose kicks in, and it takes that glucose right where it needs to be in the body, right to the proper step, okay? Type 2 is called adult onset diabetes. Most people who suffer from this are about 50 years old or older. It affects about 95% of diabetics. And this is the reason why so many young people are getting it, is because they're overweight. Because they're overweight. It affects a lot of overweight teens. This is NIDDM, or non-insulin dependent diabetes mellitus. When these patients eat their food and their body begins to digest that food and it turns it into glucose, their pancreas works. It does produce the insulin to go get that glucose and take it into the cell. But there's another problem taking place in the body in which they need, or which they end up having, diabetes. There are three classic signs of diabetes: polyuria, polydipsia, polyphagia. Polyuria is excessive having to use the restroom, having to urinate. Polydipsia, excessive thirst. And we can see how those two work together, right? You're always losing all this water, you always find yourself thirsty. And polyphagia, they have this excessive hunger problem. They're always eating often. And unfortunately, the problem with these signs is not that you have diabetes coming on. When you have these signs, you have diabetes. Okay? And so we want to be looking out for these. There's some other devastating results of diabetes. Because of diabetes, this is the #1 reason for blindness in America. A lot of people are losing their sight, and they go to the doctors only to find out they were diabetic. And had they went to the doctor early enough to catch the diabetes, they could have saved their sight. They're 18 times more likely for kidney damage. I don't know how many people I've met who are diabetic and they're on dialysis. All right? One thing that's good for the kidney, very good for the kidney, is there is a peanut, I believe it is, that they can eat. I have to let you know what that is when it comes back to my mind. Now, it's not gonna take the damaged kidney and make it better, but what it will do for those who are on the verge, it can start helping to slow down those effects so that they don't end up on dialysis, okay? Then you have 2 times the risk of a heart attack and stroke, and 50% of the amputation due to gangrene in hospital is because these people were diabetic. 50% of amputation due to gangrene. You know what you can do for gangrene? A natural cure for gangrene? Sugar. Get a bag of sugar, pour it on that gangrene. And it's going to begin dissolving all of that dead skin. Keep pouring it on, keep pouring it on, keep pouring it on, because it's going to liquefy. Keep pouring it on, keep pouring it on, keep pouring it on, until it stays dry. Wrap it up, let them go to sleep, do the same thing again in the morning. Keep pouring it on, keep pouring it on, keep pouring it on. Then what you're going to do, this will hurt. It'll hurt, okay? You're going to actually beat that foot with the finger. Then you're going to see little beads of blood coming back. You know what that means? There's life.
Wow, praise
Right?
God.
The life is in the blood. The problem they have gangrene because they're not getting any more blood, and their foot is corroded. But you start beating that foot until you see the blood come back. It's gonna hurt, but you see the blood, and now you know there's healing coming back to that area.
This is white granulated processed.
White sugar, yeah, the stuff we're not supposed to eat.
Right.
Yeah, put it on the outside of the body, not on the inside.
And sugar does what to gangrene?
Pardon me?
The sugar does what to gangrene?
It actually dissolves all that dead skin.
Okay.
Begins to dissolve. Yeah. And you're gonna keep pouring it in, keep pouring it in, keep pouring it in. Because it's gonna liquefy until they hit you. You keep doing it until it stays dry on the foot. Then you wrap it up overnight. You may have to do the same thing again the next day. Like I said, you beat that foot until it starts to bleed. Now you know life is coming back. There's healing coming back to the foot.
Doctors don't know this apparently.
Like I said, I'm not here to bash the medical industry. But what they know and don't know, I don't, you know.
Yeah.
And I'm sure a bag of sugar costs way less than what that doctor, you would pay that doctor.
Yes.
So there's usually that price thing. So what's the cause? What's the problem? What's happening here? The first thing, this is from a book called The Ministry of Healing, page 235. When the abuse of health is carried so far that sickness results, the sufferer can often do what? Do for himself what?
No one else.
No one else can do for him. Check that out. The first thing to be done is to ascertain the true character of the sickness. But we don't want to figure out what the symptoms are. We got to figure out what the real problem is, right?
Get to the car.
Then it said go to work how? Intelligently to remove the cause.
Amen.
Type 1 diabetes. Right now, research said that there is no known cause for type 1. They can't figure it out. But I want you to understand something tonight. There is never a disease without a cause.
Okay.
Never a disease without a cause. They may not know what the cause is, but there's something causing it, okay? But research has found a very, very strong link called cows.
What you say?
Now I'm gonna give you some really shocking news. You probably never knew this, but tonight you're gonna know it. You ready?
Ready.
Cow's milk is for cows. You would not walk under there and begin sucking on that nipple, right? You think that's disgusting. No other animal, no other species on earth goes to another animal to get their milk, right?
Well.
But we do. We look at that cow and think that milk might be kind of good. And we drink that milk. And the protein in cow's milk is very, very hard on the body. And so we live in a time where we have plenty of alternatives. There's soy milk, there's rice milk, almond milk. You don't have to drink cow's milk anymore, okay? And actually cow's milk, they used to tell us back in the day it was good for the body, right? It does the body good. And it's so fortified in calcium. It has a lot of calcium, but actually what it does is leave your body in a negative rather than a positive with that calcium because of all the work it took to get it in there. So they're finding right now their strongest link for type 1 diabetes is cow's milk. And again, they said a lot of these type 1 diabetics are little children, right? So what's the thing we're feeding them all the time?
Milk.
Yeah. Gotta go back to breastfeeding our children. So here's a health tip. If you have type 1 diabetes and you need to get your insulin, you can juice 3 to 5 ounces of green beans. That will equate to 5 units of insulin. 3 to 5 ounces of green bean juice will equate to 5 units of insulin. might take a few bags of green beans, but 3 to 5 ounces. And you want to stay away from, we want to keep them as fresh as possible. Okay? The other thing is, with type 1 diabetic, is if they eat a diet that's 80% raw foods. Raw food does not mean you eat raw meat, okay? Not talking about that. Raw food means fresh fruits, fresh vegetables. You will be amazed. Again, we live in a time where there's so much wonderful information. I have a cookbook here.
Amen.
That's a couple of them actually. One is called Raw Food Celebration, one is Raw Food Revelation, right? And this teaches you, these are entire books on how to make meals just out of food. Now, they don't say they cook their food. They say that their food has been prepared or warmed, right? Because so long as it doesn't reach a certain temperature, all of the nutrients are still in that food. And you will be amazed at how good this food tastes. I remember I had a friend of mine, she was a raw foodist, and 2 of her favorite dishes that she would make this stuff, it looked like mashed potatoes, but it was actually cauliflower. Tasted excellent. She made this spaghetti-looking dish, but it was actually string zucchini and squash, right? And an ice cream. Oh man, the ice cream was delicious. I mean, it was just fruit and ice. And she would whiz it up to a certain mixture and it would be thick enough, just like ice cream. And it didn't have all the extra sugar, didn't have all the extra preservative, didn't have all the extra dairy from the cow's milk, okay? So, raw food diet does not mean you have to eat a salad every day. You can eat wonderfully on a raw food diet, and that's only 80% of the time. And much of these foods, especially the green food, will still give that person the insulin that their body needs. Okay? Type 2 diabetes. Now this one, we actually know what's going on. This one, we can actually say, okay, here's the problem, so this is how we can solve this problem, okay? So I've seen this thing work so many times. I'm confident that if you apply it to your lives today, those of you who are diabetic, you can see the same result. There are 2 main causes to diabetes. The first one is diet. Now, diet doesn't mean going on a diet. Diet means the stuff that you eat every day. Remember I told you for the type 2 diabetic, his pancreas works. The insulin goes, it captures the glucose, and it's taking it into the cell, but the problem is fat. There's a layer of fat covering the cell, and the insulin can't get the glucose into that cell. Fat is the main problem for type 2 diabetic, both fat in our food and fat on our body. Fat is the number 1 problem. So what we have to do is reduce our fat intake.
Right.
And by reducing the fat intake, we can reduce that resistance that's going on in the cell. And once we reduce the resistance, we can reduce all the excess glucose that's in the blood. You see that? I'm going to do this diabetes chart here. I want you to see something as to how a person gets diabetes. I'm going to need a couple of volunteers. I need someone who has maybe a calculator on their phone, maybe pen and paper. I see some of you who are taking notes. Just hit the light for me, please. A couple people who are taking notes, if you don't mind. You want to do it? I need one more person who has a pen and paper. Anyone else have pen and paper? Okay. Great. And let's see. But Curtis. What I want you to do is I want you to give me an example of the typical bad American breakfast. Okay? Bad American breakfast. Let me get my marker here.
Thank you, we call good breakfast.
Now, what this diabetes chart does, it's going to show us what's happening in the body, why a person gets diabetes. What we have here on the side is a lot of different types of foods, and most of our foods will fit in one of these groups. And this tells us, some diabetics will notice, it tells us the glycemic index of that food, which means if you eat this food, it's gonna raise your glucose level this many points, or it's gonna bring it down this many points, okay? So what I need you to do is keep track of the amount of points,
Okay.
and then we're gonna add them up, okay? Yeah. All right, Brother Curtis, for breakfast, come on up. What are they gonna have? Eggs. Eggs is a protein. 20 points. Bacon. Bacon is a protein. 20 points. Now, we put some grease on that bacon.
It's already good.
It would be right without the grease. Fried grease, right? So that's another 20 points. That's a fact, right? You have toast. Most likely you're gonna have white bread instead of wheat bread, right? So now we got another 20 points.
Butter.
Got orange juice, fruit juice, 20 points.
Butter on the bread. Butter.
Gonna have butter on that toast, right? Cheese. Okay. Hold on. So, butter is junk food. That's 30 points. We said cheese, junk food. 30 points.
So we can butter and cheese.
Yeah.
When they classify with milk,
Pardon me?
when butter and cheese be classified with milk.
Right, but the problem is, the cheese itself is a junk food. It's no good. There's really no nutritional value, like you would think that milk would have. Okay? There's no real nutritional value in cheese. You don't eat cheese because it's going to give you vitamin something. Right? You eat cheese because it tastes good.
Recording all of this.
Yeah, we have a public recording.
Real good.
All right, so and a bowl of cereal.
Cornflakes.
So let's say the cereal made of whole grain. Maybe they have a bowl of cereal, right? So that's plus 10.
Maybe.
But you gotta have milk in that cereal.
Yeah.
So that's another protein, plus 20.
Got it grits.
Right? All right, hold on. I think the first one has enough. Oh, yeah. We got grits. We got eggs. We got bacon. We got toast. We got a bowl of cereal. Pardon me?
Jelly.
And some jelly on the toast. That's a sweet. That's a plus 30. Okay. See, let's give Brother Curtis a hand. Typical bad man. Y'all jack this brother up. Have mercy. So what?
130.
130? That what you came up with?
220.
Yeah, 220 something. How many?
2, 4, 6, 8, 10, and then 60, and then 30.
Two junk food.
What did I miss something?
Got the cheese and that butter.
2, 4, 6,
Miss something.
The other half.
You got two?
I'm pretty sure that was 130.
Okay,
We will average it out, right? We're gonna do 190.
okay.
All right? 190. Okay, so let's say the person actually got 8 hours of sleep. You know, many of us haven't seen 8 hours in a long time. Let's say they got 8 hours of sleep. They wake up on an empty stomach. Your glucose level for normal should be between 80 and 110. Okay? This is normal. So this person, we're going to say, after they've eaten, it has gone up 190 points. 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, 60, 70, 80, 90, 100, 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, 60, 70, 80, 90. Their glucose is now up to 260. That's serious.
They got that.
That's just breakfast. That's just now. Here's the thing. This happens to all of us. The moment we eat, our glucose goes up. Right? Say it again. Yeah, he did have some orange juice, which was the healthiest thing he had. Usually they have what? Coffee, right? coffee, which would have been a whole other thing, right? So, their glucose level is at 260. This is way past what it needs to be. Now, here's the trouble with diabetics, okay? And again, this is not I'm not bashing the medical industry.
Yes.
But this person's doctor, if they go to the doctor 3 days in a row, and their glucose is much higher than this level, they're going to diagnose them with diabetes, okay? Their doctor is going to tell them you need to eat 5 to 6 small meals a day, right? It's going to take him 5 to 6 hours to digest this meal.
Right.
So, every hour, his glucose comes down 10 points. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Which still puts him at 210. That's still way too high. Most of us don't wait 5 hours till we eat it. If you're diabetic, you're going to eat every few hours, right? So let's say in 2 hours he's at 240, and he goes to McDonald's for lunch. What's that going to do to his glucose level? Go way back up. Then 2 hours later, he's going to do it all over again. Then 2 hours later, he's going to do it all over again. And his glucose never gets back. Even in 8 hours, it's not going to wake up at the right place. This is why we end up with diabetes over and over and over again. We're eating the wrong things and it's spiking up our glucose. And we're not allowing the proper amount of time for our food to digest.
Amen.
The program that I found that works all around the world is a 2-meal plan for diabetics and most people who have a lot of these other diseases also. You let them eat a large, healthy breakfast. A large, healthy breakfast in the morning that will, in 5 hours, put them back in normal range. Then after that 5-hour break, they can have a large second meal. And that's it. Now they got the rest of the night, plus a few hours to come back down and wake up in normal range. But unfortunately, we're not doing that. We eat all this junk. Then even if we don't go to McDonald's or anything like that, we're snacking in between the day. We got chips, we got candy, and all the cookies and all this stuff. And it's just spiking up our glucose over and over.
Have mercy.
Hey, what do you keep it like that? 35.
Say it again?
35.
Wow. Anything below 50, my friend, can put you into the hospital. Right? 50 is really very, very dangerous in itself for your sugar. He's asking, what if your sugar is too low? 50 in itself can put you in the hospital, can put some people in the hospital. Okay? You will need to eat more throughout the day.
You know that. Mine is down. 35. Well, I have 0 each point. I have 10.
You do.
You can 400.
Right. Now, somebody who's too low, they may need more meals throughout the day. Right? Healthy meals. You still want to eat the stuff that does the body good. Instead of white bread, you get whole wheat bread, which is brown. They taught us in school, the whiter your bread, the sooner you're dead. But we all see how this works? We get an idea of what's going on? Okay, we can hit the light. All right, let's continue. Cause number 2, we said there's fat in the body and there's fat on the body. Fat on the body, too much weight. What's happening is our insulin has little antennas on it called receptacles. And all that extra weight smashes those antennas. So they're getting the glucose, they're heading there, but they can't communicate with the body to know what to do. All that excess weight and inflammation has smashed and destroyed those antennas on the insulin that help to communicate in the body. The danger of excess body fat. It increases risk. Look at this. The American Journal of Epidemiology says it confirmed 5-pound gains increase the risk of diabetes by 10%. Every 5 pounds you gain, it increased your risk of diabetes by 10%. But what about sugar? So we've heard for years, that sugar, too much sugar is the reason for diabetes, right? There's a university in Kentucky, and it is noted for its research on diabetes. The doctor there took two groups of people. One group of men, they were young, lean, strong, healthy men. He fed them a diet. You can read this story. Everything that I'm sharing with you on diabetes is in this book here called Health Power. All of this is contained in this book. You can find it here. He fed them a diet. I'll read it for you myself. Here we are. Dr. Anderson of College of Medicine, the University of Tuskegee, Kentucky, said Dr. Anderson was able to turn lean, healthy young men into mild diabetics in less than 2 weeks. Wow. By feeding them a diet 65% rich in fat. He took a similar group, lean, young, and healthy, fed them only 10% fat, plus 1 pound of sugar every day for 11 weeks. The research shows not even one was diabetic. Not even one was diabetic. Now that doesn't mean you go eat all the sugar you want, all right? That simply means that what we thought was the main cause isn't. We're finding out that fat, too much fat in the body is the main cause. It's not too much sugar in the body that's causing diabetes, okay? Now, too much sugar will cause so many other problems. You get bad teeth, high blood pressure. I remember when I was younger, they called me hyper. I used to run around. They gave me this medicine and calmed me down. You know, why? I used to eat a lot of candy. I had all this sugar boiling up in my blood. So we don't want to go and start eating all the sugar we want, but we're finding out that the culprit now is not sugar so much, it's fat. We have to decrease it, the intake of fat. Must reduce the fat. Diet and exercise. If you're overweight, you need to exercise to get some of that weight off. Let's go to high blood pressure.
Yes.
All right. Fact, 1 out of 3 Americans suffer from high blood pressure. High blood pressure is the #1 diagnosis coming out of hospital today. And what's really astounding is that everybody in this room has a 90% chance of becoming hypertensive. Well, everyone in this room has a 90% chance of becoming hypertensive. But we want to learn how to stay in that 10%, right?
Yeah.
Amen. But what is high blood pressure? When your blood pressure is at least 140/90 consecutively, at least 3 days in a row, your doctor will diagnose you with high blood pressure. Okay? So what's the best blood pressure level? Anybody know?
110 over 60.
120 over 80. 110 over 60 isn't bad either. At least 120 over 80. That's what we're looking for. Okay? What's the primary cause? Anybody tell me what's the #1 cause of high blood pressure?
Stress.
Stress. Very good, very good. But it's not #1.
No.
What we eat?
Food.
Let's get into it. Salt. Salt is the #1 cause of high blood pressure. You want to know what kind of salt causes it? Too much salt. Doesn't matter what kind it is. Table salt, sea salt, seasoning salt, no matter what kind it is. Too much salt gives us high blood pressure. Look at this. Americans consume 10 to 15 times more than a daily recommended amount. Every day they eat 10 times too much than it's supposed to. Let's check this out. All right, we'll talk to you now. Now you can look this stuff up on these people's website. I didn't make this stuff up. KFC chicken, right? This is not a bucket of chicken. This is one chicken breast.
Bucket of salt.
One chicken breast has 1,130 milligrams of salt. One chicken breast.
One chicken.
A corned beef sandwich has 802 milligrams of salt. A handful of chips is 200 milligrams of salt. 4 strips of bacon, 564 milligrams of salt. Apple pie, 400 milligrams of salt. One catfish fillet, just one, 250
You mean
milligrams.
before you put the salt on it, or they come like that?
No, this is fixed. When you fix a breaded fillet, when you fix a breaded fillet,
Not raw.
Oh,
right. That's why it does not work.
Not raw.
No, we ain't talking about eating raw meat, all right? This is fixed. One catfish fillet, 250 milligrams of salt. Now, you know the biggest problem? We don't eat all this. We don't eat anything by itself, right?
Right.
I don't just have one piece of chicken, right? I don't just have one sandwich. I'm gonna have a sandwich and I'm gonna have chips.
And the pie.
Right? I'm gonna put bacon on the sandwich. Right? I'm gonna have apple pie when I'm finished with it.
That's right.
Right? Then we're gonna have our greens, we're gonna have all this other stuff. Fish, some gravy, all of it has salt.
What are some of the, I know sometimes
I'm in
when
the back with my,
some,
with my sister. She has in the
that are
back.
salty, I feel I don't feel too good. So I guess I'm trying to figure out what are some of the signs or symptoms or the way that people normally feel. I know I feel tired, I feel sluggish. I didn't know it was.
The problem with high blood pressure, they actually call it the silent killer.
It is.
There's nothing you can actually look for. But when you start feeling that way, that is your blood starting to raise up, that blood pressure starting to raise up, okay? So we see that we're getting way too much salt in our diet. Another cause is smoking. There's actually a chemical in a cigarette that raises your blood pressure. Right? Now listen to how they do this. Usually people smoke because they want to calm down, right?
Right.
So they smoke a cigarette, and the cigarette spikes them back up.
Wow.
What do they do? Oh man, I need another cigarette. And it puts them right back on this cycle of keep smoking. And it's the cigarette that causes them to get all jittery and their blood pressure is up. Okay? The other one is lack of exercise. Lack of exercise. You gotta get moving. Once we start moving, the blood will start moving within the body. And we can begin eliminating some of that pressure. So what do I do? What do I need to do? I need to make better choices. Cut the salt, right?
Canned food and processed food.
Instead of buying all this packaged food, processed food, stuff that comes in the box, comes in a can, all that stuff is preserved by a lot of salt. So we want to eat more fresh food, or at least buy it frozen, okay? And that will help cut down tremendously on the amount of salt that you're getting in your diet. Everybody can do this. You know what a fresh food aisle is, you know what a frozen aisle is, right? Try to keep it simple for you, and it works. Amen? Amen. Let's talk about weight loss. Anybody need to lose a few pounds?
I need to gain. Yeah, come on with it.
One of the other ones here. We're going to do the last one. Hang with it. Hang
I
with it.
need to gain.
Fat. America is the fattest nation on the planet. America is the fattest nation on the planet. Is Alabama the fattest state and the fattest nation on the planet?
Yes.
Well, actually, number one is Mississippi.
Yeah.
But
Alabama knocking it.
Alabama's number two.
Come on, they knocking it.
You rank second as the fattest state in America and the fattest nation on the planet. Just over 30% of people in Alabama are considered overweight.
Oh, that's right.
Health. Childhood obesity has doubled. Some reports say it has tripled over the past 30 years. Listen, this is real. A 2-year-old boy is the youngest weight loss patient. This is what it said in the article. I've got the link down here. It says, unlike the lap band, which can be removed, LSG, which is laparoscopic sleeve gastrectomy, actually involves cutting and resizing the stomach itself. Then it is stapled shut. They did that to this 2-year-old boy.
That's before and after.
No, this is just with clothes without. Yeah. That's with clothes without. The doctor said, listen to this. The doctor said after this surgery, they said we have no idea what he's going to suffer from later in life. They have no idea.
So why would they do that?
But they still allow the child to grow. Now, I understand it's hard to get a 2-year-old to only eat vegetables and all that stuff. But, okay, I don't have no kids. Now I know. So when a person is overweight, let me have your attention. When a person is overweight, your problem becomes multiplied. You're 3 times more likely to have heart disease. 4 times more likely to have high blood pressure. 5 times more likely to suffer from diabetes. Obese versus overweight. What's the difference? How do I know which one I am? Overweight. A person who is overweight is 10 to 19% above their ideal weight. For example, if you weigh 120 pounds, you're overweight. If you're 132, you're 143 pounds. A person who is obese is 20% or more above their ideal weight. So if your ideal weight is 120 and you're at 144 or more, you will be classified as obese. Okay? So that's the difference. 10 to 19% overweight, 20% or more obese. Belly disease. Excess weight lays at the foundation for nearly every disease except osteoporosis. So that means if we can just stay within our ideal weight, much of the stuff we suffer from, we wouldn't even worry about. Killer fact. Listen to this. Every extra pound shaves about 1 month from your life.
That's true.
So 60 extra pounds, in other words, can cost you 5 years. I remember the first time I shared this, I was at a church, and there was a big guy in it. And he said, I know I'm at least 400 pounds overweight. That's a lot of years on the side. So what's the cause, Bill? Somebody tell me, what is the cause of gaining weight? Overeating. Old age. Overeating. Oh, no, overeating. Yes. No, old age. Fat. Yes. What's the cause? Big fat problem is there are too many calories in our diet. Calories. Overeating. Right? Calories add up. 3,500 calories equals 1 pound. It doesn't matter where it comes from. If it's fat, protein, sugar, or starch, a calorie is a calorie.
That's true.
Okay? How many calories do I need to stay within my range of health? First, you need to find out your size and your frame. For me, I'm 5'7". I'm actually right in that middle range, about 145. Okay? I'm overweight. Now, they come up with these figures based upon that, okay? Based upon that.
Is that the weight or the calories? That's the weight.
You're overweight, Pastor.
I'm considered small frame, medium frame, 145. I should be 145. But for me, if I really want to look great and feel great, I will come down to about 138.
What does it say for a woman who's 5'7"? What's the ideal weight for her? For 5'7".
Right, depends on your frame. We're talking small frame?
Or medium.
Well, you know I ain't no
It would be a small frame. Small.
5'7", 123 to 136.
Pardon me?
To 136,
How much?
123.
Let me change that before y'all decide to stone me. Alright, so we're going to figure out how many calories do I need a day to be healthy, and I'm making sure I get enough calories, but not too many, and not, too lean, too light. So we take our ideal weight, multiply that by 10. Again, all of this is in the Health Power book. It's all there. And then you're going to take that number, and you're going to add, times that by 0.3 activity calories. That means I'm actually going to do something today. I'm going to need some extra calories to burn off all of that activity that I do. You take those and add them together. So this is what it looks like. My ideal weight is 145. I multiply that by 10. I need 1,450 calories. I I need an extra 435 because I'm an active person. I do a lot, okay? So for me, I need to be at 1,885 calories a day. And that's what I need on a daily basis. Now you may be thinking, wow, that's a lot of calories, right? But honestly, it's not. We can get to 1885 and no problem. Let me look it up. You go to McDonald's and just get a Big Mac meal, and this stuff is all on their website. You can look it up. A Big Mac meal is 1,330 calories all by itself. That's just one meal.
That's just one meal.
Right?
Uh-huh.
Now, I still need to eat lunch, to eat dinner. Captain D's has a sandwich called the Captain Fish Sandwich. Just the sandwich alone is 860 calories. I'm already at almost half what I need for the day. And I haven't had any fries with it. I haven't had my soda with it. Right? A 3-piece meal, large Cajun, plus fry, 2,090 calories from Popeye. That's just one meal.
That's overkill. Overkill.
That'll be overkill for me. Might not be for someone else, but it'll be overkill for me. Right? That's a lot. So you can reach 1,000 calories with no problem. We can reach this with no problem. So we have to be careful. That's why reading the labels is very, very important. We need to see what's exactly in these things that we eat so we can be careful. So what are some tips? What are we going to do to help lose some weight? Number one, we need to stop being lazy. Right? We need to start exercising. Get out of bed and do something. Alright? Whether it's gardening, whether it's walking, whether it's running, you join the gym, do something intentional. Do something intentional. I remember I was teaching one day, and the young lady said to me, well, I've got steps at my house, and so when I go upstairs to go to bed, I'm doing some exercise. No, that's not exercise. It's got to be intentional. Your heart rate must reach a certain point for it to be considered exercise, okay? Number two, stop snacking. All of these extra meals throughout the day add calories throughout the day. And this type of stuff, the calories are what's called empty calories. There's no nutrition in it. So you're just adding calories and not getting any nutritional value in it. Pardon me? Oh yeah, especially ribs. Have you ever seen those little small packages that you get in the vending machine? There's probably about 200 calories just in that little package. Yeah. So empty calories would be potato chips. Nutritious calories would be potato. You see the difference? Empty calories, potato chips. Nutritious calories, potato. Alright? We want to limit our daily meals, like we said over here. A 2-meal-a-day plan. That's what I would do for someone who wants to lose weight off. 2 meals a day. Now, there's some surprising evidence. As you notice, something similar about each disease. All 3 of them have the same causes, right? It's what you eat, and because we're not exercising. Which means, all 3 of them have the same solution. Amen? And tonight we're here for a solution. We want to know what to do, right? So, there's a 2-step solution. And we're going to flush this out more over the next 3 weeks. Number 1, remember the 3 cuts. Cut down the number of meals per day. Like we said, we're going to go to 2 meals a day. Cut down processed food. All that stuff that comes in a box, comes in a can, comes in a pocket, in a package, you need to cut that stuff down. Now, some of the stuff you buy that's processed isn't necessarily bad, like spaghetti. Not everybody's going to make their own noodles every day, right? But you can go and get some spaghetti that's already made. Dried beans, you know, they've been processed in order to get to that dry flavor. But they're still good for you. But that stuff that's junk food and you know it's been through a process and all it's good for it tastes, we need to cut that out. We need to also cut out our meat and our dairy. Notice this said cut down, cut down. This said what?
Cut out.
Yeah.
That's going to be
Cut out meat.
Cut out meat.
I know it's going to be some questions.
You talking about red meat, right?
No, I'm talking about meat. Meat. If it has blood, it's meat. Cut it out.
Anything that has a face.
You know, he got them about no face.
Huh?
She said anything that have a face.
Right.
Mama. They got a mama.
If it
They got a
bleeds,
mama.
you want to cut it out. These things here are our biggest contributors to disease and sickness.
So, what you recommend?
I'm so glad you're right. We need to exercise, right?
Exercise.
Real exercise, intentional exercise. Okay? So this is what we're going to do. We need a new start. New Start is this program that I've been telling you about that's been working all around the world. You can look it up online and research about it and find numerous testimonies about what New Start has done for a lot of people. It's a worldwide health program that's actually an acronym. That's nutrition, exercise, water, sunlight, temperance, air, rest, and trust in God.
Amen.
Trust in God is the last thing we do, but it's the foundation that holds everything
Yes,
else up.
exactly.
Amen. These are called the 8 laws of health. 8 laws of health. Whenever someone comes to me for a health consultation, I take them through these 8 steps. I got to find out what they're doing in their nutrition. What are you eating? Are you eating a bunch of meat? That's one of the first questions that I ask. What types of meat are you eating? It really doesn't matter. It's still contributing to the disease. How much water are you drinking? How much exercise are you getting? All of these things. Are you getting some sunlight? The sun is a wonderful healer. Amen. Amen. You wonder why people in the ancient days worship the sun? Because they understood that the sun did a lot for them. Temperance. Too many of us are doing way too much. And we need to learn how to do things in moderation.
Amen.
Right?
Amen.
We need fresh air. We need our rest. Rest is a healer. 8 hours, 7 to 8 hours of sleep. You'll be amazed at what a good night's rest will do for you. Amen? So we need to abide by the rules. Living in our world, there are rules to follow, right? We break the rules, we go to jail. Right? Our body has rules. And if we break those rules, we go to food jail. And if the food police were to come to some of your houses tonight, some of us will be locked up for a very long time. Right? Do not pass go to jail. Our body has rules. We need to abide by these rules. You can't sit there and eat a whole pizza and 2 liters and think that your body's not going to react to that. Okay? So here's today's food period. Our problem is we spend too much time with all of this stuff here, the fats and the sweets and the meats and the dairy. And this is what says we need the least of. We need more of this here, water, whole grains, and our vegetables and our fruit. We need to spend more time here. And the much more that we eliminate here, this will be able to do a greater work in our body.
Amen. Amen.
So this is what I'm proposing.
All right now.
We are asking you, those of you who are suffering from some sicknesses and diseases, and you want to find help, and you want to try this program, you want to do what New Start does, we're asking you to just give us 3 weeks, okay? We're going to meet here twice a night or twice a week, and we're going to continue going over some more diseases. We'll talk about cancer and arthritis and glaucoma. I've got natural remedies for all these things that God has given us, okay? And we're going to do some cooking classes. Many of you don't know how to cook this stuff. How do I cook healthy food? So we're actually going to have demonstrations done. You can see how these things are cooked, and you can go home and learn how to do it yourself. I believe all of you know how to cook, right? So the question isn't trying to teach you how to cook. We're just substituting what you're cooking, okay? We're asking for 3 weeks. My diabetes program, by God's grace, the diabetes program that I have, I've seen most people's blood sugar normalize in just 2 weeks. 14 days. Wow. You have high blood pressure, it usually takes about 3 weeks to see that blood pressure get normal.
All right.
And if we stay consistent, we're going to get together, we're going to walk, go out on the walk a few times a week. We're going to come back, we're going to eat well, and we're going to have a time to actually encourage one another, to find out where you might have fallen at, where you might be messing up at. And we're going to figure out what we can do to make sure that you stay on track.
Amen.
But if you just give us 3 weeks,
Amen.
3 weeks, no meat. 3 weeks. 3 weeks, no meat.
3 weeks.
3 weeks, cutting down on all the processed food.
I believe I can.
3 weeks on a 2 meal a day plan. Now, some of you probably work some really hard jobs, and you might need a 3rd meal. And that third meal will be something like some fruit or smoothie or something like that. Okay? But I'm actually going to put this program to work for you. And in 3 weeks, by God's grace, I'm going to show you what God can do. You will have a testimony. You'll be able to stand up here and say, my glucose level was XYZ. 3 weeks later, it's now normal. Wow. God is good. Amen?
Amen.
He cares about every cell in your body. He wants you to be well. He wants you, the Bible says, to be healthy and prosperous, right? That was not a joke. He's serious. Give us 3 weeks. Give us 3 weeks. Here's the 3-week challenge. We eliminate all the junk food, the stuff that we love, because it tastes so great. We're going to fall in love with what's healthy for us. Amen? Just 3 weeks. I'm not saying you're going to do this for the rest of your life. But I guarantee that after you see what happens to you in 3 weeks, you'll be making some serious progress.
All right.
To having a lifestyle change. You'll figure out, well, if I actually left this stuff alone and I'm feeling good now, why go back to it?
That's right. Amen.
Anybody ever been in a reckless relationship?
You don't stay here. Come on with it. Bring it on home, bro. Bring it on home.
That's our number one abuser right there. Our number one abuser is how we treat our body.
Come on now.
So what we want to do is, we want to go to someone that's going to treat us right.
Amen.
And I'm telling you, God has already given us these wonderful qualities in the food that He created.
Yes.
So this is what we're going to do. All that meats and dairies and stuff that's not even on here. You got a lot of fruits and vegetables. Notice it's sitting in water. You got to get a lot of water. A lot of whole grains, a lot of beans, fortified. This is milk substitutes, right? Like I said, rice milk, almond milk, and soy milk. We can have those things. And still, very little oil. The only oil that we're going to use to cook with will be coconut oil and olive oil.
Okay.
The only oil we use to cook is coconut oil and olive oil. And you should implement that into your daily life, okay? Amen. So,
How about this? Canola oil.
Canola oil.
no.
Vegetable oil.
No.
Why? How come?
Those things will change in the body after they've been heated up. Okay? Vegetable oil. Coconut oil, actually, if you look at it, coconut oil is high in saturated fat, very high. But because it comes from a fruit, it does not change in the body the way those other fats do and clog up your arteries.
Olive oil the same way.
Olive oil is good all the way through. If you heat it up, yeah. You don't have that big change. But canola oil and vegetable oil, it does change.
Is that good for cholesterol?
Cholesterol is a whole other model. But what I'm sharing with you is good for cholesterol. It only takes 6 weeks. It takes 6 weeks instead of 3. Okay? And the thing about cholesterol is you cannot cheat. The moment you eat some meat, it's going to spike your cholesterol. Why? Because only meat has cholesterol in it.
Okay.
You're not going to get cholesterol from vegetables and fruit. Okay? Only meat has cholesterol in it.
And your
So
dairy
the moment
products,
you eat it, you got to start all over again.
your dairy products as well. You know what I'm saying? As far as the dairy,
Really?
it contributes to the cholesterol.
Right.
Sir, what about fish?
Fish, yes.
Fish has cholesterol?
Yeah, meat, yes. Matter of fact, some of the high in
They
cholesterol.
already sponsor fish as a healthy food though.
Again, like I said, the health industry has a lot of propaganda. Okay? Not too long ago, anybody remember when they were saying that coffee was healthy for you?
Yeah.
Remember that? Now the people who sponsored that research were coffee farmers. So of course they're gonna say coffee is healthy for you. You see what I'm saying? So you can keep buying their
But
products.
coffee is worse than cigarette.
I wouldn't say it's worse, but nicotine and caffeine are cousins.
I know.
They go together. Okay?
What about liver, calf liver and beef liver?
Liver?
That's worse.
Face.
That's worse.
No.
That's worse.
Don't do it. And I'm not saying that, ma'am. I'm not saying that because others may think it.
Good for your blood.
No. Think about, if you think about what runs through the liver, what runs through the kidney, all of those toxins,
Yeah.
all all of those toxins and stuff that run through the liver, run through the kidney, you do not want that stuff in your body.
Yeah.
Okay? You want to stay away from animal products.
That's why I don't know.
So,
Your oil and food.
let me have your attention so we can get out of here. I want to thank you for coming. Those of you who are interested, we're going to be doing it for the next 3 weeks. If you have a problem, if you have high blood pressure, diabetes, you want to lose some weight, I want you to get in contact with me, okay? And we're going to get your name, your number, and we're going to start this 3-week program.
I was going to ask you about the city water. What you think about the city water?
Distilled water?
The city water. They come city water.
Tuskegee city water. Well, I don't know what they do in Tuskegee, but I still buy bottled water. Certain people want to know what's the best water to buy. I always promote spring water. Distilled water has nothing in it.
That's right.
But it's good for certain things. Like if you want to test the alkalinity of something or the acidity of something, you can use distilled water because.
But can you drink distilled water?
You can drink it, but there's nothing in it.
No value.
There's no value. It's all been taken away.
But you said our water has a lot of sulfur in it, right?
In regular water,
Yeah.
but there's not so much in it that I would be worried about my blood pressure, not from the water.
But
I'd
the
be
water in
worried about-
Tuskegee is contaminated.
Contaminated.
It's
Right, and
contaminated,
getting that
it's
sulfur
causing
is
cancer
watered
and
down.
all different kind of health problems at the moment.
Well, now, they had a
I'm sorry.
letter I come out, they said that pumped over there on Columbus Road.
But it,
Everybody supplied by Columbus Road water is contaminated.
everybody in Tuskegee, they drink
But
Tuskegee.
everybody don't come from that pump. Our water comes from down in the water.
But they saying everybody that's drinking Tuskegee water is, it's contaminated. And if you look at the city and you think about some of the things that they say that's going on, when they come out the nervous system and all the health problems and stuff that it could cause, and you look at our city and you see the people that actually live here and drink water, can't afford
Let me get your attention. Let me get your attention.
all of them.
Let me have your attention.
Yeah.
So, this is what I need to know. We're going to be closing up with prayer. Those of you who need to go, I understand. But if you want to work with us for the next 3 weeks and let us show you how to get yourself back to normal, please take the time. There's some forms in the back, and kind of just like the health survey that you might have done, leave your name, leave your address, and a working number. And we're going to meet back here, okay? We're going to meet back here, and this is our location. Did you hear the question? How much does a 3-week program cost?
Free.
Nothing.
I might as well just say.
Zero. If you would like to have some smoothies, I would suggest you do. We have some in the back. We have some books and materials there. Those of you who are interested in having some of these
Those
things,
are
I
not
highly
free,
recommend them. But I need to get with you if you want to work with us for the next 3 weeks. This big book, usually it's $135. I have it on sale for only $85. I do take credit cards, debit cards, if you don't have any cash, okay? And if you are an honest person, I may even take a check from you. No, we're gonna meet here. We're gonna meet here every Tuesday and Thursday. Twice a week, every Tuesday, every Thursday. But I wanna get with you, make sure you leave your name and number. Those of you who are interested, please come shake my hand and say who you are. And what we're gonna do is, hopefully by Sunday or Monday, we can get together and go on a walk. We can start walking, and we're gonna start talking about the different types of health programs we're gonna do, okay?